I'd like to say hello and welcome you, good day. My name is Vaden, and today I wanted to talk to you. Yes, you, watching me through two whole screens. So greedy. Why don't you get a little closer? Come on now, don't be shy. That's much better. Now, today, I wanted to talk to you about a very special band. That band is Tally Hall, with this right here being one of only 2 albums they ever produced. When I discovered Tally Hall, I instantly fell in love with their sound. Their songwriting was so unique and unlike anything I'd ever heard before. I was blown away. Ruler of Everything was the first song I heard by them, and it drew me in like a moth to a flame, and after that, I was hooked. I couldn't get enough. So imagine my surprise when I quickly found out that they'd been on hiatus since 2011. Where did they go? Why did they stop making music? When will they return? But to answer those questions, we must go back, way back.
Tally Hall.
Tally Hall is comprised of 5 core members: Rob, Joe, Zubin, Andrew, and Ross. These 5 came together in Ann Arbor, Michigan to form the band Tally Hall. The name for their band actually comes from a now defunct mini mall in the town where they grew up. There was a food court with the name Tally Hall, and they really liked it. This mini mall also featured a place called Marvin's Marvelous Mechanical Museum. This place would inspire the sound for Tally Hall's music and would soon become the focal point of their debut studio album. Marvin's Marvelous Mechanical Museum is filled with all the joy and whimsy you'd expect from a carnival or a fair, or in this case, a mechanical museum. No matter where you look, you'll find something new, interesting, and exciting, whether it be a silly song about bananas or an existential song about time. They truly have it all. Even chicken music. The album opens with the track Good Day, where they quite literally welcome you into the album.
I like to say hello and welcome you, good day, that is my name.
The track Greener follows after, which is a nice little tune about a failing relationship, but I want to direct your attention to the third track on the album titled Welcome to Tally Hall. I like to imagine those first 2 songs as the prologue to the album, with the third song being the true introduction to everything. Welcome to Tally Hall not only introduces you to the band themselves, but it also introduces you to the Tally Hall that their name is inspired from in the mini mall. The song opens with Marvin himself welcoming us into his mechanical museum.
Welcome to Marvin's Marvelous Mechanical Museum, known from coast to coast like butter and toast, from headlines to bedlines, from schoolroom to poolroom. No other place in the contiguous United States or other environs of the world. Welcome.
If you listen closely to the background sounds of the intro, you can hear the machines inside the museum all being played with. It then slowly transitions to an 8-bit sounding synth, and when it's built up to the max, the instrumental goes silent and Rob opens with a silly sounding rap verse talking about the hall and the mini mall. It simultaneously introduces you to Tally Hall the band and Tally Hall the place, with the chorus relaying the same message.
We're in the mini mall, we're in the carnival, we like to play it all, welcome to Tally Hall.
Then the second verse sung by Zubin introduces us to each member of the band and what role they fill.
Yellow Tide, the swap fellow, writes heterophonic tunes of how love bites. Red, the proud, loud guy we adore.
Is my amp too high?
No, turn it up more. So great in the back, sipping yak in here. He's knocking down the shots like Bill Lambier. Send home the locksmith. Green's got keys to unlock the rock in the act. If you please now open the case, give Blue the bass and jiggle your ba-jiggle all over the place.
And finally, in the third verse, Joe brings it back to be about the museum and all its antiquities, but midway through, he just turns into a British person and lays down a 4-bar British verse, and it's just the funniest thing ever.
Revealing that the hall is a place that aims to please with unpredictable games and antiquities. The collectible, so delectable. The unreliable styles undetectable. Like I might rap like an English chap. Take it by the nickels and I'll bum your slap. You didn't think we had the goal? Well, bloody welcome to Tally Hall!
And soon after that, it goes into my favorite part of the track where the trumpets start playing and it just sounds incredible. They genuinely believe that they're in a band. Moving on, we have Taken for a Ride, which has the titular Marvin trying to find happiness in life, which is then followed up by The Bidding, which in terms of storytelling is one of my favorite tracks. It does an incredible job weaving two different stories into one. The overall narrative of the track compares the dating market to a bidding war, with women bidding on what men they want to take as a mate. It starts us off with our protagonist describing how bad his love life has been, saying how he spends all his money at the liquor shop. He compares himself to that of a dog, saying all she has to do is ring his bell and he'll be on his way to please her. And then our chorus starts.
Going once, going twice. Every man here has a price. Over where? Over there. Sold to not a single lady in here.
Our second verse then talks about his past and how he's dated thousands of women, but none of them ever quite working out the way he wanted them to, so he leaves them. He cuts himself off before properly finishing that statement by trying to entice the woman into believing he's well educated. He says he likes to take advantage of the bourgeoisie, which is a French word for the middle class. He then tells her to bid on him and he will treat her like a queen. The chorus then plays again with some variation, which then builds to the climax of the song where our protagonist romantically sings to the woman, trying to convince her to choose him, and he will be all she could ever need. She would never have to shop around again. Shop around as in never look for another partner again.
I promise I'll be all you need, ever need. You'll never have to shop around. Don't shop around. And I'll give you all you ever need, ever need. Don't worry, I will never let you down.
The song then ends with a quick verse talking about how all the ladies go on many dates trying to find the right man, but the man they end up truly wanting is sold before they can make their decision.
So many ladies are wanting for mates, and the prospects are good, but the dates never great. Over here, over there, over where, anywhere. They're too busy with bidding, the bidding to care, and he's sold.
I really appreciate this song as it can be interpreted in two very different ways. The first is the surface level way, and it paints women as the bad guy and how they never give some men the time of day. They just play with their feelings and string them along while bidding on other men until they can find the perfect man. But I think the real meaning of the song is hidden a little deeper in what the man has to say. I believe this song is about a man manipulating a woman into bidding on him. As stated in the second verse, none of his past relationships have worked out. He broke all of their hearts and disappeared one day when he didn't want to deal with them any longer. He then goes on to say he likes to take advantage of middle-class women, but of course it's said in French, so the woman doesn't know what he truly said. So please pick him and he'll treat you like a queen. It's then wrapped up in that romantic singing part, but I interpret this as a desperate plea where he's making empty promises to her, saying multiple times he will never let her down and he is everything she would ever need. He's trying to keep all of her attention on him so that she doesn't shop around and weigh out her options with other men. But of course, by the end of the song, she ends up trapped with him when the man she truly desired and would have treated her right is sold off to another woman. This song works so well because both interpretations are correct. Both of these things happen in real life, whether it be a man manipulating a girl or a woman playing with the feelings of a man. They're both valid interpretations. I've also come to the conclusion that the chorus and final verse are not the protagonist speaking, but someone that sort of acts like a narrator telling the general themes of the story. This is backed up by each verse starting with I or I've and the man talking about himself, whereas the chorus and final verse only talk about the bidding itself, and I've dubbed this man the auctioneer. Overall, this song is an extremely fun one. I personally love singing along to it. It is such a jam. Be Born is quite literally about being born. When I first listened to this song, I just assumed it was a somewhat generic song about pink-skinned babes in a swimming pool. I didn't properly understand what the song was about until I looked at the title and was like, why is this song called Be Born? That doesn't make any sense. So I put my thinking cap on and just looked ever so slightly deeper into the lyrics and realized how stupid I was being because it is so obvious. The pink-skinned babe in a swimming pool is a literal pink-skinned baby in the swimming pool of its mother's womb. He then goes on to say, you can't stay forever young, so get out here and see the sun. You're only 6 inches away from becoming one. As in only 6 inches away from coming out of the womb to become a son. That line is goddamn genius. okay? He then tells the baby that he was once just like him in his position. And this next line is my favorite. He's saying there's a dozen people here awaiting the miracle of birth. He tells the baby it's his party and he can cry if he wants to. Seeing as how this is the baby's birthday and babies typically cry coming out of the womb. We then move into the chorus where the father is speaking directly to the baby in the mother's stomach, telling it to follow his voice and he will make him live.
What if I told you I could show you something? What if I told you I could make you live? Follow my instruction, swim in the direction of my voice. Hear my voice, of my voice. Hear my voice.
And in the final verse, the father tells the baby of its mother and how she's been waiting so long for the baby to finally come out so she can give him all the love he deserves.
You think that you've seen it all in your little ball, man, you're wrong, and she's been waiting, longing hard to kiss your head and hold your hands and hold you while you fall asleep.
The song ends with the father continuing to sing to the unborn child, awaiting his arrival. When I realized what this song was about, I couldn't believe how genius the storytelling was, but I also couldn't believe what a fool I had been for believing it was about girls tanning by the pool. After that, we have a silly little song all about bananas.
Do you want a banana? Peel it down and go. Do you want a banana? This banana for you.
It is theorized that this song is actually about drugs. But I want to go ahead and jump to the most elusive song on this record. Ruler of Everything, as I said before, was the very first song I ever heard by Tally Hall, and it couldn't have made a stronger impression on me. I'd always heard small snippets of this song before in short form videos without paying it much mind. But when I heard the full version of the song, I found the gem that was hidden in the sand. This song has a mystical quality to it that when you hear it, it immediately directs your attention. When listening to it with the context of the rest of the album, it is immediately obvious that this song is different from the rest. It stands out from the crowd and doesn't stop screaming at you until it is given the attention it desires. Just listen to this intro and tell me it doesn't draw you in and make you want to hear more.
Juno was mad, he knew he'd been had, so he shot at the sun with a gun. Shot at the sun with a gun. Shot at his wily one, only friend.
You hear the beautiful violin draw you in, followed by the sound of a clock ringing through your ears. And that's when you hear about a man named Juno who shot at the sun with a gun. And you wonder to yourself, why would Juno do such a thing? But before you have time to think, you are interrupted by the most beautiful sounding verse your ears have ever been blessed to hear.
In the gallows or the ghetto, in the town or the meadow, in the billows, even over the sun, every end of a time is another begun.
You are then promptly introduced to the ruler of everything.
You understand mechanical hands or the ruler of everything.
You hear the ruler describe itself as mechanical hands, and maybe you get confused as to what that could mean. Using context clues, you discern that it means mechanical hands on a clock. The ruler of everything is a clock, or rather, the concept of time itself. We then shift perspectives back to the lowly human down on Earth who just shot at the sun with a gun. The concept of time personifies itself and has a conversation with our old pal Juno.
Do you like how I dance? I got draconian pants.
Consequential enough to slip you into a trance.
Do you like how I walk? Do you like how I talk?
Do you like how my face disintegrates?
I have a wonderful wife, I have a powerful job. She criticizes me for being egocentric.
Juno tries to impress Father Time with material possessions such as zirconium pants. with Time responding back with judgment and discontent, explaining to Juno that items like these give him a false sense of grandeur. It's a back and forth conversation between Juno and Time, with Juno trying to impress Time with menial things, while Time breaks Juno down, showing to him how worthless these objects truly are in the grand scheme of things. He essentially tells Juno that he is wasting his life trying to be someone he's not. And by the end of the verse, Juno's mask starts to slip, and you hear him break down.
How can you? I know you, your facade is a scam.
You know you're making me cry, this is the way that I am. I've been living a lie, a metamorphical scheme.
Detective undercover, brotherhood, objective obscene.
You are then immediately thrust into a fast-paced, electrifying verse where Time shows Juno what it's like to see from its perspective. You, the listener, and Juno can feel the passage of time go by in the blink of an eye, as Time explains how short our lives are in comparison to what he views in the grand scheme of the universe. He tells us not to worry so much about it and just live the life you have with a smile, for no matter what you do to prevent it, time will eventually catch up to you, and once it does, it will move forward while you will be a relic of the past, forgotten by time. Following the release of Marvin's, the band went on to tour for a few years before releasing their second and, as it stands, final album titled Good and Evil. This album was pretty much recorded and finished in late 2009, but due to disputes and a falling out with their record company, it was delayed all the way to June 2011. In contrast to the quirkiness of Marvin's marvelous mechanical museum, Good and Evil was a lot more solemn in its tone. You can tell just from the first few songs that it's different to their previous work, although it is still very much a Tally Hall project. The best word I could use to describe how this album sounds is medieval, with most songs on this record sounding like they take place in medieval times. The most notable of these being Sacred Beast, where they directly reference being in service to the king.
We live in the service of the king.
My two personal favorites from this record have to be Cannibal and Misery Fell. Cannibal is a song about a toxic relationship staged in a way that just makes it sound like a man is allowing himself to be consumed by a cannibal.
And I am the willing victim of a cannibal. She rips out my bones just like I'm an animal.
Misery Fell is a song that's actually similar in its messaging to The Ruler of Everything, where it's all about living life without worrying so existentially. But while Ruler of Everything is not worrying about the passage of time, Misery Fell is more about religion.
Why, oh, why this town without love? Too much faith in above.
Overall, the album as a complete package, while maybe not being as successful or as iconic as Marvin's, is still a really solid body of work. The band then went on to tour for this album, and once they were finished, that was the last we ever heard from Tally Hall as a collective. Officially, they've been on hiatus this whole time, never actually stating that they'd broken up, but when you've gone this long without releasing anything new, people start to wonder. After Tally Hall broke up, each member went in different directions, some continuing to do music with their own solo ventures, and others pursuing higher education, among many other things. Zubin Seji would graduate college in 2012 with a degree in neuroscience, and later in 2016 received a doctorate in osteopathic medicine. To this day, he is working as a family doctor in Orange County. Ross Fetterman also mostly focused on education. He graduated in 2013 with a bachelor's in cell and molecular biology, and later received a PhD in immunology from Yale in 2019. Rob Cantor released a solo album in 2014 titled Not a Trampoline. He's also worked with Disney Jr., producing several songs for some of their shows. Andrew Horowitz released his own solo album under the moniker Edu that was titled Sketches, later released as Sketches 3D. He's also released a few albums of piano compositions he wrote in his college years. Joe Hawley would go on to start a project titled Miracle Musical and release a concept album called Hawaii Part 2 in December 2012. If you are already a fan of Tally Hall, I strongly urge you to give that album a listen. The rabbit hole for it goes insanely deep. It is very good. Beyond that, the members of Tally Hall have stated the biggest reason for their long hiatus is due to Joe Hawley's mental health issues, which, if you dig further into it, it's definitely understandable. Overall, I think it's a shame that we likely won't receive any more music from them. What they've created is very special in my eyes, and I wish we were in an alternate dimension where they never stop making music together, but oftentimes reality is very disappointing. Maybe they'll come back together one day for one last hoorah, but it seems to me that Tally Hall is over. Thank you for watching.
Alone at the edge of a universe, humming a tune, for merely dreaming we were snow. A siren sounds like the goddess who promises endless apologies of paradise. And only she can make it right. So things are different tonight. We'll go together in flight.